Hey Jehovah's Witnesses! Hello ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, how you doing? Guys, thanks very much for watching my videos. I'm up to just short of 400 subscribers. We can do it! We can do it! I have 4 congregations now! 4! Frig's sake! 4 big congregations! I'm very pleased. I've got my Coca-Cola here. I'm very excited about it all. Dear me. Anyway, today I'm going to hit you with a new video. I think it's really interesting. As you know, what I usually do is either give you some bluff that's off the top of my head, or I read stuff that I've found which I think is very interesting from the internet. And I'm doing that today. And it's under the subject of being counselled. When you were in the Kingdom Hall, were you ever counselled? Were you? I was. I was counselled all the time. I was counselled for having a beard, which I just shaved off today, by the way. Oh, look at me, I'm all fresh. More or less. I was counselled for shaving my head, even though I was going clinically bald. Yes, apparently that was very worldly. I was counselled for saying flip, which is like heck in America. I was counselled for that because that was substitute swear words, but I've covered that in the previous videos. I was counselled for putting music on when I was helping clean the hall. I was counselled for... what else? I think loads of more stuff. Loads more. But anyway, basically I was counselled. But so were you. We were all counselled because, pardon me, it's all part of the control. The squeeze you, push you, and mould you, and shape you into what they want you to be. Which is, when you're finished, a blob. You're a spineless blob, okay? If you're still a Jehovah's Witness, I'm very sorry you're a blob, right? Hopefully we can unblob you though. We together, we will unblob you. Come, join me. Join the Apostate Legion. So we're going to go back to counselling. Were you counselled? I was. You were. And let's talk about what these people were counselled for. I was counselled for saying I think when I didn't answer. Elders approached me. She was 12 years old. Elders approached me afterwards and said that what I really should be saying is the watchtower makes the point, or that the article brings out that. I took this counsel to heart for the next 12 years of my time with the sociopaths. And as I grew older, I had to work harder and harder to avoid saying those damnable words, I think. I think, you see, because you're not allowed to think. Shame on you. Naughty, naughty. I was constantly corrected for the way I said things and for my attitude. Also for asking too many questions. Oh, too many questions. It's always going to get you in trouble. My entire life as a born-in JW was like that. I can go as far back as when I was only 4 when I said I wanted to demolish the Kingdom Hall. What would you have done that on your Tonka truck? Good Lord. I was during a book study. I think we were going over one of the Jesus, the Greatest Man book or something like that. And there was a section where they were trying to question the accuracy of carbon dating. After the study, I asked a ministerial servant about it, since I'd only recently learnt about it in a science class. And what the Watchtower was saying didn't agree with what I was learning. It wasn't too much longer before my mom forced me to start studying with an elder. Ha! What's the elder going to teach you? Is he going to teach you correct understanding of radiocarbon dating? No! Because he's a window cleaner! He's like me! Fuck me, that's ridiculous. He's going to teach you the same bullshit that you were just hearing. The insults against science, okay? I've been counselled for some of the most ridiculous reasons. I was once counselled for wearing a scarf in service because it looked too trendy. You slut! You sluttish woman! We've covered this in videos in the past! Forget that it was late fall and my neck was a bit stiff and a scarf could serve a purpose. I made it a point to then wear a scarf as often as I could after that. You see, if you were a brother, you wouldn't have done that because you'd have been reaching out for things, okay? I have a bad habit of playing devil's advocate. Yeah, it's a really bad thing in the Kingdom Hall, okay? If you don't know what devil's advocate is, you should look it up. But from my understanding, it's basically taking the side of the opposite side of whatever the person's arguing. Just, to explore the argument. Anyway, so I could do it in school and it was no big deal. But as soon as I did it with JW friends or with my family, I could see people turning red. Couldn't you? Couldn't you do that? See, as soon as you disagreed with someone, even if you didn't really disagree with them, like you're saying, this is going red, getting angry, I'm angry for Jehovah. Especially elders. Elders don't like this. They don't like being questioned. I've been talked to a few times in the past by book study conductors, and now mostly for my mom for being rude. Ah, bless. I got shot down by an elder for doing a book study when they were held at homes back in the old days, my days, back when I was a witness. I say shot down because it was very direct and embarrassing in front of everyone else. My husband said he wanted to punch his lights out when we got home in the car. I made the mistake of asking an innocent question about the Israelites, but he said, "It is not for you to ask questions." Puh, get away. That's his job. What a dick. I wasn't born in. Lucky you. When I was 11 or 13, I was studying with this pioneer. I wasn't really interested in what I was learning, but I was smart and could easily regurgitate the obvious answers in the paragraphs. Yeah, we all did that, didn't I? But I was sort of divorced from the information. Yep. Once I got counselled by my book study conductor, because when answering questions, I typically kept whatever wording was in the paragraph and would just say, Jehovah's Witnesses believe or think, instead of I believe or I think. And she said that this was a sign I wasn't making it my own. Oh, she caught you. So I actually got counselled for not saying I think. There's my phone. I'm just going to ignore it. You ignore it too. Shh, not happening. I think the lesson here is that it's not necessarily, what's a brilliant point, what words you use, but how they are perceived by the leadership. They're constantly on the lookout for any signs of disloyalty, independent thought, or weakness. And if they detect it, even if it only exists in their own mind, you will be counselled. That's all. Absolutely true. Okay? This is somebody says, it reminds me of the last convention I went to in 2012. There was a symposium, and one of the talks was something like avoid having independent spirit. And I remember listening in shock as they told me to have no independent rational ideas, or I was like Satan. Ugh! In order to avoid misunderstandings, Jehovah's Witnesses try. This is actually a paragraph in Living Up to Christian Dedication and Freedom in 98. In order to avoid misunderstandings, Jehovah's Witnesses try to be careful about how they express themselves. Instead of saying the society teaches, many witnesses prefer to use such expressions as the Bible says or I understand the Bible to teach. In this way, they emphasize the personal decision that each witness has made in accepting Bible teachings and also giving the false impression that witnesses are somehow bound to the dictates of a religious sect. And someone said, so to avoid sounding like we dictate your beliefs, respond in the manner dictated to you. That is absolutely true. What a shower of bastards. And I would never even have realised it at the time. Good Lord. Ah, dear me. From my experience, the leadership isn't consistent. It depends on the elder. Absolutely true. Some are hard-nosed creeps that will find fault in you whatever they do because it's their power trip. Others are less harsh. But if the creeps are the alpha elders, so true, that sets the tone in the Kingdom Hall and you'll never be able to do right by them. Ah, I am feeling that in my heart. That's such a miserable, stressful way to live. I remember it all too clearly. But we all do. We all remember it clearly. I did a video just the other day where the guy was talking about bad Kingdom Halls and how he said, this was the worst. I've never felt so much evil in this hall, never compared to all the other halls. And you're like, you're not supposed to feel evil when you go to church. You're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to praise God and stuff. Good Lord. Oh, dear me. Here's the girl says, when I was a new-ish convert, probably about 12 years old, I remember my older pioneer sister telling me, she was actually quoting the Jehovah's Witnesses at the time, better to be wrong with the society than right on your own. I do remember that very well. I remember being at an assembly. This is how old I am because they don't do this anymore. I remember being at an assembly in Dublin where the brother held up a red book and he said, brothers, if the society teaches that this book is green, this book is green. That's what they actually did. Okay. And no, you're not brainwashed. Don't worry, you're not brainwashed at all. Okay. Little spongy balls. That's what you people are. Okay, Jehovah's Witnesses. She was fully into it with great expectations of Armageddon coming in 75. How'd that work out for you? I was 1 in 1975. How'd that work out for you, Petal? The org was, unbeknownst to us, attempting to cover itself as well as keep us all on our marks to jump at the slightest whim. It was so long ago, I can't remember what I said to tell her about that, but I still remember it, so it must have confused my simpleton, impressionable brain. I wonder, I'd love to find out what she said. I'd love to find out what that older sister's doing now. They use the word counsel, but actually it's criticism. I was criticised for singing with one hand in my pocket because I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one's flipping a B-sign. Okay, having too short or long a comment, having a beard, not inviting many people to my home, not talking to the older people in the hall. I can go on forever. It's a power trip. Someone thinks he's better than you and feels it's appropriate to tell you can't start a sentence with I think. What douchebags. Aren't they, guys? Dear me. Here's somebody commenting on the better be wrong with society than right on one's own. My grandmother says this, and I've heard it from the platform too. Creepiest thing ever. For an organisation that makes such a point of extolling the value of truth and accurate knowledge, quotes like this show that they really don't put their money where their mouth is. Truth is truth. It is. And going along with whatever a group says, even though you know what the facts really are, is wrong. Couldn't agree more. You're a genius. Good Lord Almighty. Pardon me. You said, I think. Oh no, didn't you realise you aren't supposed to think? I remember being told by an elder that the original sin was independent thinking. It horrifies me to this day. I was told that too. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I get a lot out of it. I get a lot out of all the comments. I get so many comments, and it's brilliant. And I'm sorry if I don't answer everybody's comments. I really try hard to, but if you slip through the cracks, I apologize. Guys, thanks very much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you've got 10 minutes and 17 seconds into my video, well done you. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day. Take care.